Dworcs are listening.
You are the ones who are the ball lickers.
What we got's gonna turn your brain into shit.
Why you laugh?
Zlurpcast!
You are the ones. Zlurpcast, hey. What up, Jonny P here. That is my pal Xtreme. If you're watching on YouTube, Xtreme is in the yellow hoodie and has the Indianapolis Clowns cap on. I am in no hoodie, but I've got the Loco Beach Coconut shirt there. So full-on banana ball swag mode, huh?
Apparently, and we didn't plan that. It just happened.
It just sort of happened. This is a recording day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. And are you getting any deals today, Xtreme, or not really?
I am. The only one that I've gotten so far is from Charlie Victor, who has an amazing Black Friday sale going on.
I didn't even plan this like plug thing. I was making small talk. That's all.
Yeah, well, that's the only one I've participated in so far, and it is kind of funny that we didn't talk about that when we were here already.
There we go.
But yeah, if you're listening or watching this right away, you should go check it out. There's some pretty huge discounts. You're
a big fan of the new bag, correct? There's a new one that's newer than the one you reviewed a year ago, right?
Yep. Yeah, so he has pre-orders up right now and has a Black Friday deal on the pre-order even, which is pretty crazy. But they're the M bags, so it's smaller. It's designed for like if you're just going to a tournament, you want the essentials. You don't need like your whole setup. So it's pretty cool. I'm excited about it. The price point normally is going to be like $54, but it's discounted on Black Friday. So I think the price point's pretty awesome for a bag of that quality.
What's the M stand for? Like micro, mini?
Medium,
or 1,000?
I think, because the other ones were L and XL.
Oh, medium?
Yeah.
Okay, so medium, large, XL. So there's going to be an S at some point.
Possibly.
Okay, I like it.
I mean, I think the medium's probably the perfect size for traveling, so I don't know what the S would be, but...
Yeah. Well, I would say most of us would say medium, is perfect. We want to be called average. As men, we want to be known as we're, average at minimum. That's what we want to be. We don't want to buy smalls. You know what I mean? M could be magnum, right?
Yeah. In this case, I don't think so. But...
No? Okay. I guess I have an XL then? That's the one
Yes.
I bought? Okay. I used that for the first time and pretty great. I only put one team in it, but it gave me enough room to put, everything for that team. And then the entire top row or top level was just foam. So there's just kind of that added, I don't know, if I happen to buy something that day or whatever, I can or if I get really mad, I'm going to just throw all my dice in the bag and they just like fall into like random spots, like Plinko style. Cause you're mad, you want to just pack up. That's good for that too. You know what I mean? Like whenever you go to a tournament, you pack everything up all perfectly. But when you leave, it's usually very haphazardly packed because you're angry, right? Just throw it all in. They're good cases. I like them a lot. And you can put stickers on there and they stay. You can put the stick-on patches on there. So it's pretty cool. Like I never had that with the battle foam bags. Stickers never stayed on the battle foam bags for me,
Yeah, there's more cloth-based. He also has some fun videos out on his YouTube and socials, Facebook, I believe, where he's like doing tests with it and he's standing on top of the new bag to show you how safely your miniatures will be.
Wow.
And trying to beat it up. And they're pretty funny little videos.
I'll have to look that up. Yeah. Does he run it over at all or no?
Not yet. I think he's just like standing on it and then trying to like tear it with his hands and things.
Now, I will say the caveat is a British guy staying on it is not an American guy standing on it. You know what I mean?
He tells you his weight and stuff. I forget exactly.
Oh, okay. All right.
So you get an idea of how much weight is standing on this little bag.
Is it kilos? Because then I have to get a calculator out then.
If I remember right, he does both. He does the conversion for you.
Oh, very nice. I always thought that was weird as a kid. Like when you're learning about different, so they have pounds for money, but then not pounds for weight. And it was very, very confusing as a child, along with everything else.
I was always confused with stone as a weight measure. Like,
what is stone 20 pound? No, 20. I don't even know.
I still don't know. I just know it's like fight weights are measured in stone.
My only real knowledge, actually my first knowledge of stone was the band Bush. Their big album was called 16 Stone. And I think it was about like a manager or somebody they had that like screwed him over. And they, that was their way of calling him fat. Like, oh, this bloke is 16 stone. Meanwhile, it's probably like less than me. I don't even know what. So anyone watching, listening, you can do the 16 stone conversion and let us know in the comments as well. Also, let me know your top 3 Bush songs, of course. Chemicals Between Us, obviously, number 1. So we've got a lot to cover. Xtreme, we did a live show back in July. It's now November. A lot has changed. A lot has changed since that show until now. We did our year-end show about 11 months ago. So like that was, not quite this time last year, but we kind of closed out the year. I was flipping back through our old catalog, and not like old, because those are gone, obviously. Who wants to get canceled? Got to get rid of those. No, but like a year ago. And I was telling you a story about how I hurt my foot just getting out of bed. And it's like, man, that is like the motto of this year. You can see on the video, did you see this thing on my head? Do you see it? It's cut here.
Yeah.
That happened this morning from opening a box in the garage, and there was like a cardboard piece on top of another piece. I just threw it in the air, and it came down and sliced me in the head. It's like, what the fuck? Cardboard? That's what we're dealing with now? Anyway, as you get older, things affect you in different ways, including this game of Blood Bowl that we like to talk about. It affects you in different ways. Xtreme, I would say a month ago, I'm like, I don't even want to do a Zlurpcast. I wasn't that enthusiastic about Blood Bowl because at least I can speak for me. If you want to, chime in with your thoughts and how it hits you, but like when you've been playing this game for so long, so I just turned 48. Yeah, 48, right? No, 47. Wait, what are we in? Oh my God. What's 7 plus 8? 5? Okay. Or what, you know what I mean? It's 48. Jesus. It also sucks because your brain doesn't want to have the realization of like, oh my God, it's like grandpa age. But I've been playing this game since junior high school. When I played 2nd edition, went to Gamers Paradise, met this weirdo named Phil Bonarek who sold me and Dean teams, and playing it back then. And off and on in different forms for 35, whatever it's been, plus years. And you can't always have like, oh my God, I'm so in love with this game. Like it's like any kind of 35-year relationship. You got the ups and the downs all the time. And I was in a down with it because I just wasn't having a ton of fun. I didn't do you realize, Xtreme, up until 2 days ago, I have not played a single game of Blood Bowl this entire year.
Really? No, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I didn't either. I was looking back at NAF, and I moved from Iowa to Florida in April. I don't think I went to the February tournament in Iowa. I don't think I did. I'll double check, but I don't think I did. And that would have been my only real chance. And then since then, I've been kind of like, we were renting, and now we bought the house, so like we moved. So it's a lot going on with like life stuff, new job, and blah blah blah. And I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy. And I would say at the end of last year, I didn't really, I didn't do very well at all at those tournaments. And it's not all about how you finish, but you get discouraged. You shouldn't, I was playing Chaos every time I wanted to keep going. It's like, I keep getting my ass kicked over and over again. Then you're losing the same people because then it's like you play the same group. And so that stuff like that can get frustrating. And there are some people that they're listening and watching. They're like, oh, why do you care? I'm like, right. Some people don't have that. I don't want to say they're not competitive, but things don't faze them like that. Sometimes I think you, Xtreme, kind of like me, where not every loss phases you, but some or a pattern or something could discourage you. Do you have that similar kind of thing over the years?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think for it being a hobby, it's a flaw. Like if we were professional athletes, then it would be a positive thing. But like, I really hate losing so much that it takes like, I hate losing more than I enjoy winning, which I think is a problem because it's a hobby and we're supposed to be having fun. But so, after like I've had 2 bad-ish tournaments in a row, and it's definitely affected me. Like after the last one, looking back on it, I'm not real proud of my attitude in the last game. That I was a little pouty and like, oh well.
It happens, right? Yeah, like I remember there was one Iowa tournament where I finished my last game super quick. And I lost, and I just wasn't having a good time. And I went to Tim, the organizer. By the way, Tim Lyons does an amazing job running Iowa tournaments. So if you're in that area, go to some of his. He's got a whole series of them. But like, I didn't want to be a jerk, but it was like, unless I'm winning an award. Again, this sounds shitty, and I'm sorry, but like, unless I'm winning an award, I have a long time to sit around to wait because I finished super early. I mean, we were done very quickly, and then tally up and all that. And I wasn't doing that well. So I wasn't having a bad time. But I just wasn't having as great of a time as I wanted to. I didn't want to sit around. So I was like, hey, you mind if I get out of here? He's like, yeah, totally fine. Of course, But like, as a TO, if it were reversed, I'd be like, why do you want to leave? Like, what happened? Come on. Like, what can I do to make, like, there's nothing you can do. It's just when things aren't going well and you have the opportunity to skate out of there a little early, people like me and probably you, Xtreme, do, because it's like, well, much like the pouty kind of thing. I didn't want to be like that, but because it sounds shitty to say, well, if I didn't win anything, I'm not staying around. It sounds bad when you actually like say it out loud. But at that moment in time, I'm like, I'd like to be home right now. And then by the time I got home, I saw the stuff on social media, who won. So like literally that's the whatever, I think it was 2 hours drive. That would have been me sitting around just on my phone doing nothing. So I got home and I saw who won. But again, there is a level of, I should have stayed to support it because it sounds bad to leave early,
Yeah, I mean, and like I was saying, I was kind of pouty in my last game, in the last tournament, and I don't know. I recognize that, and it's a bad thing to do. Like, I should have been a little more even killed for my opponent. Like, it wasn't his fault that he was destroying me. Like, he should have the enjoyment of that. I shouldn't be over here being a sourpuss. And
that was your final game of that tournament?
Yeah, it was against my son, though, so,
Oh, that doesn't matter. I mean, come on. Did you do the old, like, Bill Cosby? Yes, that one. Line, I brought you into this world. I'm going to take you out. That was one of his lines.
No, it was a bit of a bummer, though, because I'm sure we'll talk about the changes to the game and everything, so I felt like this was my last chance to play him with the Dwarves that I've played for years.
Okay, and so there was a little bit of that.
I wanted that one last game, and it kind of went south early. And
okay. Yeah, you're right. That's kind of like it's a little bit of a moment, a little bit of a, retirement kind of game. Yeah, let's get to some stuff here. We want to talk about our own sort of what we have going on personally. So typically we do that for new listeners. Inside the Dugout, it's going to be that segments, get into that. As far as the rules go, I would imagine Xtreme, we could probably just, have you played a tournament with the new rules yet or no?
I've played 0 games with the new rules. I've done a lot of reading and thinking.
I've played more than you.
Yeah.
Like over double, over triple, over quintuple games of the new rules.
Infinite amount.
An infinite +1, yes. I think we're going to go inside the dugout. We're going to hang out in the dugout for a little while. Are we going to kick over a big jug of Ogreade because we're mad? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Are we going to all enjoy some zombie, eat flesh? I don't know. We're going to find out. And we're going to talk about our teams, our plans for the rest of this year and next year and season 3 of Blood Bowl. What is this game? Coming back on Zlurpcast.
Brought to you by McMurdy's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loathing it. You are tuned into the Zlurpcast
with Xtreme and Jonny P. Lodging to a speaker near you.
That's what we are.
Inside the Dugout.
Compadres forever. For a lifetime.
Inside the Dugout.
Once again, Jeff Mastel did the voice of that 16 years ago. Never got a dime, still using it. Man, the best deal. The best deal. It's kind of like, the Beastie Boys have an album called Paul's Boutique with a ton of samples. They always say, that was from 89, I believe. They always say you can't make that album today. It would be impossible to pay for all of the rights for everything. But back then, nobody was really getting anything. It was like, you couldn't remake that album. Kind of like this. Now, it's like, I'd have to pay the guy. I'd feel bad about it, blah, blah, blah. But, back in 2009, when he recorded it, it's like, here you go. It's like, you're going to do a couple episodes. It's going to fizzle out. Well, it's not going to be anything. Still using it inside the dugout. Well, Xtreme. So as far as the new rules go, do you have the rule book?
I do. Yep.
Okay. I was thinking, like, if we've got the time, I Go ahead, and I'm gonna put my glasses on here for those watching on the YouTube. Greetings, sports fans. Welcome to Season 3 of Blood Bowl, the game of fantasy football. In Blood Bowl, you take on the role of coach of your very own team, leading 11 spike-adorned, blood-crazed, and frankly insane maniacs onto the pitch in an attempt to defeat your rivals in a clash of sporting glory. Victory and violence is the name of the game, and if you're lucky, you may find yourself showered with fame, fortune, and fan adulation along the way. In this rulebook, you'll find everything you need to know to play. Can you hear me?
Yep.
That was weird. I don't think Riverside, the app, likes me pulling an Andy Kaufman Great Gatsby reading here. Because that's what the plan was. Okay. Where were we? Okay. Don't take our word for it. Let's hear what the two bona fide legends of the game have to say. Introducing the legendary commentary team, Jim and Bob. Extreme quick quiz. What races are Jim and Bob?
Ogre and vampire?
And which one is which?
Bob is the ogre. Jim is the vampire.
Yeah, and Bob's, like, if you were naming an ogre, like an ogre baby, Bob would be more the name than Jim. Bob sounds like a big ogre kind of name, you know. But I believe you're right. Anyway, I'll try to keep going. We're on page 1 still. Good evening, sports fans. I'm Jim Johnson. Is that like Jervis Johnson? Is that why he did that? Jim Johnson?
I believe so.
And then is Bob Andy Chambers?
I have no idea.
All right. Well, this is page 1. Let me just double check. I want to check time and see if we can get through all this today. It's okay. Man, 5, 7, 9. Okay, so there's 200 pages. I don't think I can get through the whole thing on this show. There's a limited recording time on this app, unfortunately. You're going to have to buy your own.
Why you laugh?
You know, it's a start for you. Good evening for sports fans. You get that out of me. Extreme, right off the bat, this isn't going to be a let's go through all of the rules changes.
No, I think everyone's already heard that at some point or gone through them themselves. I don't think they need another voice going through all the changes and going over everything. And I think we're late to the party if that's what we want to do anyway.
Oh, yeah. It's my party, and I'll cry if I want to. That's not a party I want to be a part of. I'll tell you why. Extreme. A lot of people have complained about things, and it's like, I don't know. To me, this game, or hobby, as you say, which that's a reminder to me because I don't really like paint anymore, and I don't really do the hobby side. So to me, it's still just a game. Not even really a hobby to me. If I'm having fun, I'm having fun. If I'm not, I'm not. And whatever else is going on at that time kind of like just goes with it. So what I mean by that is because I had a good game, which I'll talk about in a couple minutes, like the other day within a new community, well then, yeah, I like the game of Blood Bowl right now. Cool. Bring on all the rules changes. But if I didn't and I was in a shitty mood, then I'd be like, oh man, I can't take guard on all my dwarves. Like, I mean, it just kind of goes with what it is. I don't think new rules really pisses people off as much as they think it does, put it that way. I think there's a lot of cool stuff in here. And once again, it's like 90% the same game, right? So I don't know. I don't think. Extreme, do you have like some bullet points of like pros and cons you want to hit? Or what's kind of your thoughts and what you want to discuss on this?
Not really. I mean, I just have like a few areas that, you know, I'm excited about and a few areas that are a bit of a bummer. So I don't know how long we've had the rule since the rules started leaking and everything. It's been some time now, so I've had time to process things. I definitely had days where I was upset, and then most of the time, you know, I was more okay. But you caught me on a very good day. I'm in a great mood today, so nothing but positive for me today.
Okay. Well, do you think the first, when you said, you know, kind of, you know, things upset you, this and that, it's just the built-in, just anytime there's change, right? Any kind of change off of what you're used to is automatically going to be like, oh, I don't know, anything, right? I mean, you don't think there's, you know, it's automatic apprehension. Is that the right word for this?
So I think there's a couple different things that came into it for me personally. I do, in my opinion, this is the biggest shakeup to the game since 3rd edition came out in '94, with how much the rosters have changed. The core game is basically the same, but the roster changing is
Yeah.
going to change how those teams play.
I would say, I would agree it's the biggest shakeup, but it's nowhere near the size of the shakeup. I mean, it's the same core game. Whereas, so I mean, yes, it's the biggest shakeup since going from weird to call. And people jump in the game at different times. This is 3rd edition, but this is season 3, but it's based off of 3rd and 4th and 5th edition. The numbering system is worse than Fast and Furious. That's all I'm saying. Because it should be season 8 or something. You know what I mean? It should be your 9th edition or whatever it should be now. That's really would be a better name for it. But if you're talking about going from 2nd edition, which is based in the late 80s to early 90s, to the 3rd edition, which is the core rules with block dice like we know now. Yeah, biggest shakeup since then, but at its core, mechanic-wise, is the same for the most part.
Yeah, so, I mean, that factors in. And then I think the other side that more personally, like, I have zeroed in on one team so specifically for years now. And then when that team gets completely changed.
Were you going to say nerfed? Were you going to say nerfed?
I don't like calling it a nerf because I think it's beyond nerf. Nerf sounds way too soft for what happened to dwarves.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's rough. I mean, to be fair, nerf is soft. You can get hit by a nerf gun. You're not going to die. Yeah, nerf is soft.
I see nerf as like a small tweak or change, which some of the teams did get. What happened to dwarves, I think, is beyond that.
A travesty, would you say?
It's really bad. But and I think that's part of the flaw in my plan of being so dedicated to one team, where most people would just be like, oh, I guess I'm not going to play that team anymore. I'm going to grab one of my other teams and start playing that because that's going to be fun for me now.
Didn't you, wasn't this always inevitable though? Didn't you always have in the back of your mind this moment?
I don't know. I knew it was a possibility, but I never knew it would be this bad. I expected some of the changes to dwarves. I expected the dwarves to get a nerf. But then what I saw was much worse than I could have ever imagined.
So when I was a kid, we had nerf. We had nerf, but I would say like we had nerf, like nerf football. But then I also, much like Transformers to GoBots, one day my mom comes home with a poof football, POOF. I'm like, what's this? She's like, it's a nerf football. I'm like, it's not a nerf. This is a poof. And by the way, I think poof is slang in England as well for something else. But like, it's a poof. She's like, it's a nerf. I'm like, ah. So it's like GoBots. It's like, is it Optimus Prime? Like, nah, it's the one that just bends over and that's his only movement, you know. Listen, Xtreme. I remember you and I had a conversation at one point years ago, and it was talking about the possibility / inevitability of at some point something's going to change in the dwarf roster. And the thought was either adapt and survive with it or just kind of, give it up or put it on the back burner or whatever. And I think that you're saying now that you don't think you never thought it would be this bad. But in my head, I always thought it could be worse. I always look at changes in a game as in the worst possible, because at any point in time, Games Workshop could say, this is a completely different game. It is no longer 8 turns. There's no longer turnovers. Now you have 4 downs to get 10 paces, whatever. Now you have it could be a completely different game. And the Dwarves could be a completely different style team. There has been some changes in that regard, more on the sneaky side, right? More on the, let's get the secret weapons back and all that. No more strength access across the board, that kind of thing. But it's something that I think that it's okay to not be happy with those changes. My personal opinion with you and your team, this is sort of like you said, it's an unfortunate byproduct of being so dedicated, because you have a scale in your head of how much different could and should it be. Like, okay, a little bit different. Okay. A lot different. Now I'm upset. And like you said earlier, if someone has multiple teams, they cycle through, they go, you know what? I'm not happy about this. I'm going to go to another team. But for you, I'm not saying it's not an option. Of course it's an option. You've got teams, but you're so dedicated. You've got 400 plus games, right?
Soon.
Oh, soon. Okay. Close to 400 games. And sorry, I thought, yeah, but that's a lot. And so, yeah, I would say you are probably what's the word I'm looking for? The most affected by the Dwarf team in the world. You're probably the most affected by the changes to one single roster. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I don't like definitive statements, but probably.
Yeah. Right, because didn't you post the other day about the most games with a single team?
Yeah.
And I don't think the other ones that were on there were really actively.
There's a couple that are active, but their teams didn't really get changed.
Yeah. So I know you don't like definitive statements, but in my eyes, at least of people I know, of course, the small circle of Blood Bowl friends. Side note, can't get that shirt anymore. Thanks, somebody. I appealed. I don't know. There was a weird statement I had to sign about like lawyers and shit, but anyway, if he was trying to get that shirt. But like in the small circle, it's like, I know you're more affected. I love Dwarves too, and I have a lot of games with Dwarves, nowhere near what you have. And am I bothered by it? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, because I thought, well, I used to automatically want to take 4 guard on 4 linemen, no matter what. No matter what. That would be an automatic for me. That's not a thing anymore. I'd have to put him on blitzers, or I guess troll slayers too. Is that the only other option, right?
Yeah, blitzers, slayers, and your death roller.
And death roller, of course. Yeah. So, and I never really used my blitzers in that way. I used them as much more versatile than, trying to give assists all day. So I would have to rethink it. But I'm more in the boat, like you mentioned about, I'm going to try a different team for a while. So I'm not as affected by it as you, which probably also alters my opinion of it. I'm not as devastated as you are. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, for sure. And I don't think it's just the biggest thing is losing the strength access on alignment, but it's not just that. It's like you did that, and then I felt like there was like you knocked me down, and then before you walked away, you kicked me in the nuts a few times, and then walked away.
Yeah.
With some of the other changes. So I don't know. It's fine. That's one of the negatives that I'm trying not to focus on. I've had time to process it, and I just have much lower expectations for my results when I play Dwarves going forward.
Were you hoping that with all those changes and said kick in the nuts, they would have been dropped to tier 2 then as a way to even it out?
I think once things get adjusted, they'll be tiered correctly. I don't know what they're thinking putting them in tier 1 right now. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. But that's something that'll be adjusted over time, and I'm not as worried about that. Tournament organizers will put them wherever they want to put them, and I don't see them as a serious team anymore, so it's hard for me to really complain about what tier they end up in. Because
of the secret weapon focus, or because of just losing a little bit of the competitive edge that made them what they were?
The secret weapon devious skill focus feels half-assed to me too. Like you kind of suggested that's the direction you want to go with it, but then not really. Like, so they get cheap bribes, but everything's more expensive on the team, including the rerolls for some reason. But so you can't afford as many. And then I would have thought, like, if you're really leaning into this Dwarves are cheaters, they're, bring back Flint Turblade and the other secret weapon Dwarf star players. That way you can be like, oh, see, now you can, like, get these guys.
Oh, they'll probably come out.
Maybe eventually, and the devious skills, like outside of Dirty Player, none of them are really that exciting for like a non-stunny team, in my opinion.
So you thought maybe if you're going to go that route, then really make that their thing, make that a strength of the team as opposed to a by the way.
Yeah, like if you're going to tell me, oh, this is the dirty team that cheats now, and then I look at it like, well, other than keeping the Death Roller on the field, how? And like the Death Roller's role on the team too, I think completely changes now. Where I view him less as a damage-dealing player on the field and more of he's my mobile guard now. He can get guard easily. I can keep him on the field with bribes, and break tackle's great. And he has speed 5 now, so I can move him around the way I used to use my blitzers.
Yeah.
And that really sucks because that's a very boring role for a Death Roller.
I never thought about that. I still plan just to use him as I always did, only because I don't, much like a big guy on another team or a star, I look at them sort of independent and not part of the plans for the rest. That's just how I view stars, big guys, that they're just like, you know what, you do your thing and we're going to do our thing. You're not really kind of separate. You know what I mean?
It's hard because Loner got a little bit better. Loner went down to 4+, but he still has Loner and no block. So hitting with him's always risky.
You mean 3+?
It's 4+.
What was it before?
5.
Oh, I don't think I realized that.
The death roller was 5.
Yeah,
was a variable.
I don't think I realized that. Wow. Okay.
So, I mean, but even Loner 4 Plus makes it very risky if you don't have block to hit with him. And then he lost a player +2, which is good. I think all the +2 stuff going away is a good thing for the game. But because of that, now fouling, he's not the super scary fouler either. So it's just a very weird time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't see, and then you have super expensive players. So I don't see how Dwarves are this fouling cheating team. It just doesn't make sense to me. But I keep being told by people at least once a week that Dwarves got better or Dwarves are going to be fine. And all I keep saying is, show me. Don't tell me, because that's going to mean nothing to me. Because I think that's been the trend for years now. Everyone's always like, oh, Dwarves are easy. But you're not playing Dwarves, so why can't you show me how easy they are instead of just telling me this?
Much like the Rush album, Show, Don't Tell, and calling Go For It's Rush as well. I think that you would like someone... The problem is, Xtreme, you don't have anybody in your shoes. So there's no one at your level of... What's the word? Prolificacy? But I don't... You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, like, there's no one at your level, so everyone's going to be like, you don't really play Dwarves like I play Dwarves.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to, like, be completely snarky when I say show me. Like, I would actually be very excited if you could show me how I need to adapt the team and keep playing them. Like, if you could show me an example, like, okay, I will adjust the way I play. I just don't see it. So I need it to be shown.
Okay. Well, either someone will show you or you will be the shower. Not the grower, if you will. And you will...
The most likely scenario will be, it's just not there. There isn't.
Yeah. Well, listen. You've got... you're done with old rules tournaments, right? Everything from this point forward is going to be new rules?
I have one more tournament in 2020 rules.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't even realize that. So, and you can play Dwarves for that one?
Yep.
Okay, so that's going to be your swan song, if you will.
Yeah, and it's not a very dwarf-friendly build. It's kind of a crappy build, but it will be my last 2020 Dwarves.
And what tournament is that?
It's the Winter Solstice tournament in Texas.
Oh, Texas. All right.
Yeah.
And, well, I hope you don't decide to leave the 40 Miners team in Texas as you...
No, I don't think that's going to be it.
Well, as you... in this inside the dugout, sort of your own personal coaching kind of thing to it, as you, I don't want to say close the book on a chapter, but as you sort of like, mark off a little chapter and kind of just gently close it, what are your going forward plans for Blood Bowl and the new rules?
So I'm going to continue playing Dwarves a fair amount, but not at the level I was previously, because I can already see that I'm going to need to take a break every once in a while from Dwarves because it's going to be frustrating. But I want to keep trying to play them and trying to figure them out, which is one of the positives, I think, of this new edition, is that it brings new challenges, and you're going to have to learn how to play things a little bit differently. Yeah. Which is good. That's healthy for the game. So I'm going to be playing, I would guess, like 40% of my games with Dwarves. Oh. And then my new Death Roller team will always factor in for any time I want like a fun thing. And then I'm looking at...
and by the way, Death Roller team, you mean as ogres, correct?
Yeah.
So that'd be like your kind of for fun. Yeah, for fun, lower tier team for fun. Ogres using Death Rollers, very thematic. And I just want to, before you get into the other teams, if you start to do very well with Dwarves in the first couple of tournaments you play with them, do you think automatically your opinion is just going to change? What if you win your first tournament you play in?
Well, that's the danger too, right? And it's a little frustrating because I know how bad Dwarves are. So if I go and I win a tournament, I feel like people are going to say, well, see, they're not that bad. Not, congratulations, you did really well with the subpar team. Like, see, Dwarves are fine. And then I'll be like, well, they're not fine. But
it's the old, like, it's almost be like, not so much now, but back in the day, if you played a jokey type, played against one, it's like, well, you're supposed to beat halflings. Like, you don't get your automatic, like, hey, good job. And then if you lose, like, you lost to them? It was always like, come on, don't pair me up against these because it's a lose-lose scenario. Do you think because of the the criticism and then sort of the reverse criticism. See, I knew you'd figure it out. I knew you'd crack the code. You're kind of like stuck in that mode. But hey, if you win a tournament, that's a good thing ultimately.
Right, yeah. I'm not going to complain at all. But if I can find a way to have success with dwarves, then, that 40% that I'm estimating on dwarf games will probably go up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want to play at. That's what's fun for me is playing dwarves.
Do you still have room in the big house for another banner? Did you save a spot for other banners? Or is it like, you know what? I've managed to close off the rafters.
No, there's plenty of room for more stuff.
Okay. Just checking. I just checking, want to make sure that if it does happen. Now, in the big house challenge, which will happen toward the end of next year, then dwarves will be good because that's who you're going to see in the tournament.
Right. Yeah, that'll be the best tournament to bring dwarves to.
Right. You can't all lose. Everybody can't be 0-3,
Right. Yeah. But other than those two teams, I'm looking at some more competitive teams, and I'm going to start factoring those in so that way I can kind of get that palate cleanser and go and actually try and do well.
That's cool. Yeah. As you sort of like make your way through the rosters, you've got a different perspective than a lot of people, because the flip side of being so one team oriented is now you can kind of like, oh, wow, look at all these things. You can start to like look at rosters like fresh, whereas people that had like 3, 4, 5, 6 or all the teams, they cycle through all the teams. You are like, it seems like everything's kind of fresh. Like, I could try it, Nurgle. I could probably make use of this, and this, or I could, whatever. You never really looked that, I don't say you didn't look that hard, but you never envisioned yourself playing those teams. So it was more of a spectator kind of look, like, oh, who am I up against? Not who could I actually be, right?
Yeah, for sure. It was always like viewing what other teams do, like how do I stop it, rather than how do I use all these cool toys. And
my prediction, I don't know what your plans are, but my prediction is you're going to find your way to dwarves one shape or another. You're going to either play Old World Alliance or Chaos Dwarves, because you're going to be like, I can't shake that dwarf. I can't shake it.
That's very frustrating, because if it wasn't for the 40 miners, that would be the smart way to go. Like, okay, well, I'm just going to pivot. I'm playing OWA or Chaos Dwarves now.
Yeah.
But it's just very hard for me to do that.
Because now your dwarves are tied to the team with the history and the whole franchise, as opposed to just add a couple of models. Who cares?
Right.
Yeah.
Or even orcs, I think, would be a good pivot for dwarf coaches to move to if they're going to give up dwarves. But
Dworcs, if you will.
Yeah.
Dworcs?
Sure.
Not all orcs have to be green, Do you think anybody would try to use dwarf models as orcs? I bet somebody's going to do that.
I think so. But
I mean, people do anything. I played against fucking dinosaur toys and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's like people do anything with models. I've played against Post-it notes. People do anything. So, all right. Well, Xtreme, as part of the Inside the Dugout here, anything else rules-wise you think you want to hit on? I mean, again, we're not trying to cover all of it. Happy to start reading again. I could even pick up on page 2. I don't have to finish up page 1. I can start on page 2 if you want to. You know what I mean?
No, I think there's some... So, if you've been on the internet looking at Blood Bowl stuff, there's plenty of negativity, but there's some positives to focus on as well. The teams that have been tweaked and changed and are going to play very differently are going to present new challenges and things for us to unlock and figure out. So I think that's a positive and good for the game, as I mentioned earlier. Star players definitely seem like they're going to be more limited on who they can play for. I think that's a very good thing, something that more of us have been asking for a long time.
Yep.
And I think you're going to see fewer star players at tournaments, which is good in my opinion.
Definitely some positive changes there.
Passing, I think, is much better than it was. You're still not going to want to pass if you don't have to, but now if you have to, it's much better. You don't have to worry about wildly inaccurate. And
feels like the old
stats went up.
It feels like old passing, right? If I have an actual thrower type model, and let's say I want to do a quick pass 3+ and catch on 3+, like, why not make it easy like it used to be? It was an easy thing back in the day,
Yeah, I mean, their fix for it was to dial it back to what it used to be with plus the passing stat. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely a positive change. The biggest negative, I really think, from all of it is that we just need time to get clarifications on things. There's a lot of weird interactions that we just don't quite know what the intention was or how we're going to play this now. So we need that first FAQ errata to kind of straighten things out so there's no arguments.
Yeah. I think it was, there's definitely room for some of those kind of tweaks there. Overall, I mean, you mentioned some of the things that I also enjoy too. The kind of course correction of star players fitting their races a little more thematic in that regard. I think if you play in leagues, there's a lot of really cool new things to do in that, just to kind of expand that style of the game. I was looking at the descriptions of the block dice, and they call POW. And I'm like, I never said POW.
Yeah, that's cool.
So now I got to say POW. I never said POW. And I never said stumble either. So here are the block dice. I don't think any of the shows covered block dice, by the way. So Zlurpcast exclusive. You roll a skull. What's quiz Xtreme? What's skull called?
Attacker down?
Nope.
No.
Player down.
Player down. Okay.
Why not attacker down, right? That's what it is. Now, player down. Both down is still both down. Is there a podcast called that? I don't know. I don't follow anything. Push back is still push back. And then defender stumbles is now just stumble. So you got to say stumble. If you don't say stumble, it doesn't. You got to stumble.
So we don't have attackers and defenders anymore.
No. Well, okay. Description for stumble. I got my glasses on. Here we go. The target does their best to avoid being clobbered by their attacker. If the target player has the dodge skill, this result becomes pushback as described above. Otherwise, the result becomes POW as described below. So it does say attacker in that one and target. I don't think this is defender. So I thought that was interesting because POW.
So, sorry, I don't want
to. No, go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm just being stupid. I'm just being stupid.
One of the very small things that isn't a big deal at all, but it kind of excites me because it's dumb, is mascots getting better. I really love mascots. I think it's awesome. It adds this little extra flavor to teams, and now they're very much worth taking. They're $25K, and they work 50% of the time.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, you can still use a team reroll anyway, so it's definitely worth investing in.
So my thought on mascots, I like the idea of it because it's an extra cool model, you can have and fun for the team. I just wish it was something different than a half a reroll, basically. You know what I mean? I wish it was something kind of like how they did cheering fans where you get, something just for like, what was it, the first drive you reroll? Is that what it is? Something like that. Something different than just, hey, let's have mascots. What should we do? Let's make it a reroll that works half the time. Like, can you do something else?
Added in the extra line of now too, where you can, you get an advantage on that kickoff result if you have a mascot.
Okay, so that's something extra.
So it does like two things now.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it. Just, you know what I mean? Though I just wish it was like a little more than just that. But yes, I still think it's cool. Anytime you could have inducements or add-ons to the roster that fun thematic things, I always like. That's always the whole, like the rule of cool kind of equivalent there. I noticed something in the book about, I wanted to look up the part about the markers, like the tokens. And I wanted to see, let's see if I don't know if I have it. I'm sure I have it somewhere now. But I wanted to see if there was a reference to putting models on the ground or not.
There is.
And there is. I wanted to see, where is that?
I was trying to be positive, though.
Oh, but the whole thing on Dwarves was all negative. What are you talking about?
I didn't even know we were going to talk about that.
Okay, fine. Positives. Big positive for me. Love the idea of securing the ball action. I thought a phenomenal add-on because nothing screams boring as shit over whether you're controlling the team or you're against the team. Let's say you're playing against Khemri, Tomb Kings, or even Orcs or whatever. It's like, okay, and there's one guy all the way in the back by himself that can't pick up the ball. It's just stupid. It's just like, there's no one around you. How the hell can you not pick this thing up? So they made it a lot easier to pick it up in that specific scenario.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be another thing that is going to become part of every game that's played, and it's going to change things a little bit, because it's not just on kickoffs, but any time that you're away from the action and you can secure the ball, you can secure the ball. So if you punt the ball, which is a new fun.
Yeah, I like that too. I thought that was a cool skill.
So I think secure the ball is going to be one of the big game changers with actual gameplay rather than just your team changing.
I like secure the ball. I like under leagues, the thing about random skills. You get to get 2 of them and pick the one you like. That's kind of cool. Makes random a little better there. Xtreme. So Blood Bowl tokens, page 27. Prone token, yellow. This denotes that the player is prone, see page 39, and is used instead of laying models down on their back, parentheses, as they used to be in previous editions, close parentheses. The other side of the token is stunned. And then stunned says the same thing as... I don't like that line in there. Why did you have to specifically say instead of laying models down and then to then double down and say, as it used to be? You could have just said this marker's for that. That way, you could let the players decide how they wanted to handle it and go from there. But to put the wording there is really fucking dumb, in my opinion.
Well, there's a little blurb, I don't know if it's on that page or somewhere else, and where they describe not laying models down. And
Oh, I don't think I saw that one yet.
Yeah, it's not on that page. It's on a different area somewhere. But it kind of reads very much like... be patient with old people that like to lay their models down. And it just is frustrating because everything leading up to this I felt was describing it as an optional thing. But then the way the rule book reads definitely doesn't make it sound optional.
Yeah, I just don't, I must have missed that part. But yeah, I just don't understand. Well, as we're still inside the dugout, I played a game a couple days ago against this guy, Jason, super nice guy. Here in Tampa. Great league, great tournament, really great people down here. Just super inviting and friendly. And we didn't even talk about it. We just laid models down. We didn't even talk about it. It wasn't even brought up. We talked about everything else. He talked about other fun little things in the game, like some new skills, this and that. But we just started. And of course, he started off with a blitz, so he went right around there, boom. And immediately, he did ask, he's like, you mind if I move your models? I'm like, oh, of course, no problem. That was nice. But it wasn't like, can I place your model down? Because it's not, no, we just did it.
Most games will be that way, but you are going to run into those newer players or players that just don't want to do it now, and the rules back them up. So I've already, put contingency plans on how I'm going to deal with things. I'm definitely going to have a longer conversation before a game of how do we do things. Because I play people from different regions going to tournaments.
Yeah.
So it's not always like your group. So I think it's important to clear that up before the game. And if we're not going to lay models down, I like the Charlie Victor bands more than the tokens on the by the base, because the bands will be on the model's head area.
Yeah, the bands are... the bands are on top, much like a video game having a thing above somebody, as opposed to I got to look down. My problem with looking down is, well, one, that all has to be, of course, painted. You got to have those painted. It's colored, obviously, Xtreme, some colorblind, those kind of, so that's a problem for a lot of people too. But more importantly for everybody is the amount of different pitches that we play on. Now that's all going to blend in. When there's 9 squares, caught in a mosh for those players, that style. And then I'm playing on a pitch that's kind of a little yellow, a little like bright green. I'm not going to see prone tokens. Well, also they're not even going to be, they're going to slide around and I'm not even next to the guy anyway.
Yeah, and if you have models next to each other, which one was it? And you're not just marking prone and stunned, but prone, stunned, distracted, eye gouged, all these different things are going to be marked, it's going to be confusing. I did find that blurb, if you're interested.
Oh, sure. Yeah, want to read it?
Sure. It's a designer's note. Lying models down. In previous versions of the game, we used to lie our players down on the pitch to denote being prone or stunned. Face up players were prone, face down players were stunned. Seems so simple.
They put a parentheses there and says, to make things easier, close parentheses.
However, in Season 3, this has changed to using tokens. This means that regardless of how large or dynamic a model is, it is easy to tell where a model is and if they are prone or stunned. It also prevents damage to miniatures and coaches have spent a lot of time and love painting. Then there's a separate paragraph. This is my favorite part. You may find that some veterans still lay their players down during a game out of habit. This is fine if they wish to do so long as they make it clear which square each player is in and what their status is.
If it says this is fine, that's nice to see.
It's fine for them, but that doesn't mean that you're required to do it either.
Yeah.
So it's
that's true.
The tone, I guess, is what I didn't like.
I've never had a model get damaged by placing it down. I've had models get damaged for many other things. I've had more models get damaged by putting them into protective foam, like to protect them, than on the actual pitch. I've had models drop when carrying them table to table. I've never actually had it. Why? Well, because one, that would only happen with metal models. If you had an old metal death roller and you fell over, the driver might fall off. That. Other than that, though, nothing ever got broken by putting models down.
I definitely had paint rubs from places the model would.
On metal, yes, metal.
On metal models and the 40 miners, which I'm playing game after game after game with. Yeah. So over time, you would have some paint rubs, but I would rather still deal with that than have this confusing board state.
What I always thought, this is kind of, I don't know, just me, weird thoughts, but when I had all metal models back in the day and they would get kind of beat up a little bit, it was always their armor that was getting beat up. And then so it would be silver. And I'm like, it's kind of cool because armor is silver. And it just looked like chrome armor, on the corners.
That was always my attitude too. But unfortunately, a lot of the models would be their nose would.
Yeah, right. Nose or hair.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Nose, beard, hair. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I will say this, that there's a handful of models that are too big for the game. And so I had some caveats and whatnot were there. With that said, I played, the other day, my Chaos Dwarves against Jason had Necromantic. And I asked him, do you mind if I just put models down? He's like, yeah. Not for the assumed part we did. I mean, for big guys. He would knock a big guy down. And he's like, yeah. I said, if I use a token to take the place of my Minotaur, I'm going to forget to move. He goes, no, I'm right there with you. But now it's in the rules, like you said. So it's a thing now, as opposed to, do you want to use a token? Because it's kind of a big, you got a giant tree man who's taking up 6 squares. Now it's there's a thing in the rules that says, what are you doing? Don't touch models. Don't touch them. Just slide them over and put a thing next to their base. Don't touch anything. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. And that's where, I have this contingency plan and a compromise I think is fair. I'm going to have enough of those Charlie Victor bands for me and my opponent. And if they don't want to put models down, that's fine. I would just ask that, can we use these bands then? Because it'll be easier for me to see.
Do you have anything handy that can show on the screen at all, or no? Are they packed away?
My order hasn't come in. I've never owned those before because I always put models.
Oh, those are new.
He had them for big guys, and then he has a new set for smaller models for prone stunned, and then all distracted, chomped, all the new stuff too.
Well, definitely check out the Charlie Victor website. They're a sponsor of the show. They have the best stuff. I use the base rings, and people are like, they're like, oh, do you need a rubber band? I'm like, no, I got these. Whoa, it's like rolling up with everyone's eating burgers and I got a steak. When you know what I mean? When you're using Charlie Victor stuff, it's oh shit, oh shit, because they're using stuff that's second level down. You want to use the best of the best. I just thought that was unnecessary to state the line as they used to be in previous editions, because that's trying too hard to squeeze something out, as opposed to letting stuff die off naturally, which would tell you whether it's working or not.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's a good point. If the game needed to go, you could have introduced these tokens, said it was an optional thing. And then see if people start doing that more than that's the direction.
Yeah. I just thought it was weird. It was putting that line in there, just to me, that just read weird, very matter of fact, as it used to be Like, okay, like you didn't say as it used to be with any other fucking thing in the rule book. You didn't say everything else. As it used to be, sore subject, dwarf lineman used to get guard, as it used to be. You didn't say that, but for some reason that was as it used to be. I just read, like you said, the tone kind of read weird. But anyway, you said stay positive. Sorry. But it is positive overall. I'll tell you why. So I just moved to the Tampa area and I met a really great gaming group. So it's like, yeah, that's fun. It's fun to have people that they're coming over and introduce themselves like, hey, what's up? Welcome to the league. Welcome. I never had that anywhere else. I always had people you had to try really hard to fit in and try really hard to, make some friends. And it's like, wow, super welcoming. So I did something at that game night that I never thought I would do. And that was say, I had all these plans to buy the new rule book and they were out of stock at the moment. I was like, I could have just waited or ordered it. I'm like, I'm going to buy the box set. I'm not going to assemble those teams. I'm going to use Bretonnians. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but I'm not going to assemble them and paint them because I'm not painting anymore. But I got it. So I'm like, you know what? It was a good deal, good stuff in there, a little bit of a discount. And, I like my roll-up boards. I love the Zlurpee pitch, but, it is easy to throw the cardboard one in the bag. It kind of fits in the thing. So it's like, it wasn't a bad purchase, but I only did that because I felt so good about the group I was playing with. So it kind of always goes back to something we covered on our old Zlurpcast TV show, old YouTube episodes, that every game is fun if you have cool people to play with. And every game could also be miserable if you have miserable people to play with. So that's kind of what led me to want to jump back in and not say, I don't know when I'm going to play again. So that to me, if that feel good moment of playing Blood Bowl again and buying stuff, getting into it again, goes along with 3rd edition, because, hey, that was actually the game. It was, who wants to do some 3rd edition intro games? Because there's a tournament at this store coming up December 20th. It's going to be the first 3rd season tournament. No special rules, just build them out of there, match play in the rule book with tiers and skill points, but no tournament special rules because they want people to get used to it. That was the reason for some of these games people were playing. So it's kind of like the whole, everything happens for a reason. It's like, if 3rd season, I keep saying 3rd season is the reason for the season that I got to play a game and meet new people, well, then I guess I like 3rd season because it got me into that. So that's my positive spin on all of this, No,
and I think that's, I don't know, GW producing products and keeping it in stores is creating new players or keeping people interested or keeping maybe people that have stopped playing, get them back into the game because they could see it there. And we didn't have that for a long time. And I think we could all look back and when the community controlled the rules, it was better. I don't disagree with that, but when the product's in the stores, that's better for the game.
So for me, this rule book, reading through it is a fun read. And if I try to take my competitive nature out of the equation, which I should, right? I've never won a tournament. I have no reason to act the way I do. I have no reason to get bent out of shape when I lose. So it's fucking stupid, especially, if you're a top player, fine, whatever. This is your life. You travel around, you take pride in that, but I was never that. So I need to try to say, fuck it. And maybe, I don't know, maybe when I play Dwarves, a little more devious style, maybe that'll help me get into that mode. I don't know. I started using the Flamesmith and that was fun. I mean, and I'm using the bassist model, the Iron Steve from the Thundergeddon Chaos Dwarf team. And so, every turn I'm going to light this guy on fire. And it's kind of fun. So I don't know. I guess I see what all those years of playing against Goblin coaches when they're doing all the wacky shit. It's like, oh, okay. You know what? It's kind of fun to do wacky shit. I like it.
Yeah.
So, all right, Xtreme. Anything else inside the dugout, or shall we go around the old world?
I don't know. I don't have anything else.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
A trip around.
You are tuned into the Zlurpcast with the dirty player and the sneaky git.
Brought to you by Nurgle King. Your DK right away at Nurgle King now.
Around the old world.
Around the old world. This is the segment where we say what's coming up in our sort of Blood Bowl universe. Just to clarify, we're not going to cover every single thing. Hey, you didn't give mine a shout out. This is really just our plans of what's coming up. However, we're happy to talk about things that we know about. But if you ever feel slighted, it's never on purpose. It's just kind of, we only talk about things that really are in our own little circle, so to speak.
So before we get into it, like, I was thinking about this the other day. In years past, it was always like December, January was like the off season, like where everything slowed down and there wasn't much going on. Yeah. I don't feel that way anymore. Like, it feels like the calendar is packed with events like all year long.
Year round, yeah.
And I'm not sure. I kind of look back fondly as that time of taking a break.
Well, also because it's like more family stuff going on, and it's like, people get to have their husband / father at home during holiday weekends as opposed to always driving around. Yeah, something that I noticed now that I'm in Florida, it's also just on a similar note, but a little more expanded. Because it's nice weather all the time, it never feels like we're in holiday season now and there's a blizzard in Iowa and they're going to cancel the tournament that's supposed to be tomorrow, I think, or postpone it. And it's like, oh yeah, blizzards, fuck. What were those? What was that? Like today, it was kind of cool today, but like 2 days ago, it was 90 degrees. It was 90 degrees 2 days ago. And so I'll never feel like it's an off season for anything. It's just kind of, it's always on. People here are outside year round, shorts year round, grilling year round. So it's kind of, so I'm going to have even more of that feeling, I guess, of there's never off time. The only off time is the off time you decide for yourself to take off, which I sort of did. If you think about it, I didn't really have any NAF tournaments this year. However, I am playing in one coming up December 20th at Armada Games in Tampa is a tournament. I don't think there's a name. I think it might just be like a store tournament because it's no special rules, no theme per se. It's just to get people used to it. 3 games. The one thing I got to get used to is the tournament starts at 1 and ends at 9:30. I didn't realize that. It's okay, but just not what I was expecting. My guess is probably store hours, but whatever. It is what it is. And it is straight up regular tournament. There's also a league starting at the store. And I have not played in a league in probably just as long as you, Xtreme. And when's the last time you played in a league?
Well, I'm in an online league, but not real.
I don't want to say it doesn't count. That counts. But my question is actually, when was the last time you played in a tabletop league?
It's probably been 15 years, maybe.
Yeah. XBL?
No, there's been stuff after that. But
okay.
It's been
so maybe 10 years? Maybe 10 years?
No, I think it's been close to 15.
Okay. I would say for me, it's probably been at least that. I think the last league I was in was at the bunker that Phil ran. And I mean, it sounds crazy, but it could be, it could be over 15 years. It could be over. Like it could be like 08, 07, which is wild. And I'm going to join a league though. And they have a league start at the store in January. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to have for 2026 or 25-26, depending on where you're from, because I believe the league, when you start in January, everyone starts fresh, but then there's multiple seasons throughout the year. And some people bring teams back and some people start over. And then there's, other types of drafts and whatnot. So everyone's going to start fresh. So I'm going to use my Chaos Dwarf team, the Maidenhead Roadies, as my league team. That's going to be because I've got extra players, I've got sideline staff, and I also think that team will be real fun to build up. Bull Centaurs, Minotaur will be real fun to build up with extra skills over time. For my tournament team, I decided to get a new team, and it is currently on the way to me right now. It is a Bretonnian team. I thought the models look really cool. Back in the old days, old World Football League, I made my own Monty Python team, which were just goofy Reaper models at the time. And I saw some really cool on the stream. You sent me some the other day, and they look really cool. But I wanted a little more Blood Bowl, kind of like tough looking. And I really do I like the Tomb Kings models too. I like both new teams. They're both really good. I mean, we've said it before in the past, but I'll just say it again. Most of the GW plastic teams look really freaking good. And so the Norse team looks good. The human team looks good. A lot of them just look really good. So I don't need to be the whole, well, I better find a different brand because I hate all things. No, they're pretty good. I do miss a little bit of the personalization that you get sometimes, but they look good. So I got the new Bretonian team coming, and I think I'm going to have fun in tournament play with them, because I was noticing that the linemen, the squires, have wrestle. So that to me is like reminiscent of when I used to play Norse all the time. I had my old Norse team, the Ragnarok and Rollers, back in the day. And it's like, okay, so when linemen get a useful skill, that's nice for tournaments because they kind of get that covered. And then typical throwers and catchers and typical kind of blitzers with, but added dauntless in there because they're knights. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is kind of fun, very thematic. So I'm going to try to learn a new team and take my lumps. If I lose a bunch of games, whatever, try to stick with them throughout the whole year as much as I can, at least. Who knows? I might switch it up. But as of right now, that's kind of my plan, is to have a tournament team and then a league team and kind of go from there. So yeah, if you're in the Florida area, you'll probably already know about that tournament on December 20th. And there's plenty more next year. That's one thing I learned about moving to this state. There's not a loss. There's not a lack of Blood Bowl. When I was in Iowa, Iowa City had Blood Bowl, but that was it. Des Moines didn't have anything where I was living. So that was out. And then I did take a bit of a break when I lived in Colorado Springs, even though there was a good amount of events there. So it's, nice to have things going on. Xtreme, you've got a bunch in your kind of circle there. So what do you have around the old world?
So coming up soon, and looking ahead to next year, we're doing a tournament series in Indiana. So there's going to be a ton of tournaments locally, which will be really nice on our travel. But in the near future, December, I will be in Texas playing at Winter Solstice. I was able to schedule a work trip, so that way I could extend my stay a couple days and hit a Blood Bowl tournament.
Wait a minute. Was there like a valid business reason to go to Texas?
Yeah. So I have to be there, working Monday through Friday. But I was supposed to leave Friday, but I was like, hey, if I pay for my own hotel for a couple days, can I just leave Sunday night? And they were like, yeah, sure. So that's what I'm going to do.
Good for you, man. I like that.
Hit up a tournament while I'm there.
And so are you flying then?
Yeah. So I'll be flying down. There's actually going to be a Dungeon Bowl tournament Friday that I'm going to do too.
Awesome. I love Dungeon Bowl.
Play Dungeon Bowl Friday, Blood Bowl Saturday, and then fly back Sunday.
Yeah, Dungeon Bowl it's my favorite of the variants. I just, it's hard in tournament play, I think, because I think it kind of lends itself to just make sure your dungeon has places to go and move as opposed to what's in the rule book. However, it's fun no matter what,
Yeah, I mean, I have no expectations at all for it. I was looking at it, I was like, well, I either do this or I sit in my hotel room and do nothing. So
yeah. What team are you bringing for Dungeon Bowl?
I don't want to pack a bunch of extra stuff, so I'm going to have my 40 miners with me for Saturday, and then I'm just going to throw in a couple ogres and a Noblar, and that's going to be my Dungeon Bowl team.
Oh, because they're like College of Iron? Is that what it is?
I don't really know. I don't really know much about Dungeon Bowl.
But I think it's ogres and...
Yeah, my team's going to be almost all dwarves, but then 2 ogres and I think 1 Noblar.
That's cool. That'll be fun. And then the big tournament as well.
Yeah, so that'll be Saturday, which Texas is full of great Blood Bowl players. So I'm expecting to go down there and get beat up, but have fun.
Yep. This is, and probably your break from the 40 miners for a while. But this is probably I don't want to say closing a chapter, but this is your send-off for a bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't call it... I wouldn't consider it a break from the 40 miners because they're still going to be out there and active.
Good. I'm happy to hear it.
The next tournament I go to next year, my first 2025 tournament, the 40 miners will be there.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, cool. Okay. So never mind that. No.
So in January, I'll be going to New Year's Bash in New York.
Awesome.
Which is a 2-man team tournament. I'm going to team up with Sean Cowley.
That's awesome.
House Blackfire.
Very cool. Is that a work trip or no?
No, that is not. But I'm going to meet Sean in Northern Ohio, so we're going to split gas, and there's some cost-cutting features on the trip.
Yeah, that's really cool. You'll have fun with that. Well, Xtreme, great talking Blood Bowl with you. Season 3, a lot of new stuff. There's plenty of other podcasts out there. I think Bonehead goes very in-depth with all that stuff. And I look forward to trying out new things, trying out new skills, meeting some new players, trying some leagues. For me, this is a gateway into a whole new season of Blood Bowl. For someone, a seasoned veteran like myself, it's nice to also have seasoned curly fries and be lightly seasoned as well. Xtreme, I hope that your usage of the 40 miners is still there. I hope you still see them on the pitch, and I also hope you have a lot of fun with whatever new team you try to start coaching, because that's always fun. Learn the ins and outs of a new team, you know?
Yeah, I'm expecting to be. I'm excited about it, so I'm ready to go.
All right. Make sure to follow Zlurpcast everywhere you see online. Watch the old episodes, listen to the old episodes, subscribe on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen. Of course, YouTube as well. Check out our sponsors, Charlie Victor Products, for the best Blood Bowl. Again, rolling up with steaks and everyone else eating hamburgers. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying with that kind of stuff there. And we will see you on the pitch.
Meet Charlie Victor, the MVP of Blood Bowl accessories. Need swag for your Blood Bowl league or tournament? Charlie Victor's got you covered. From dice that roll one's way too often, to gear that makes your team look as sharp as your trash talk. Impress or insult your fake-ass Blood Bowl friends with the Zlurpcast Ball Liquor Token. Why you laugh indeed. Hey, Coach, level up your game at charlievictorproducts.com.